Mental health is based on a certain degree of tension, the tension between what one has already achieved and what one still ought to accomplish, or the gap between what one is and what one should become. Such a tension is inherent in the human being and therefore is indispensable to mental well-being. Dr. Viktor Frankl. Life isn't easy. No matter what we attempt to do, we're going to deal with setbacks and failures and even more internal struggles like deaths in our family. But life isn't supposed to be easy. We go through struggles and suffering and setbacks to grow, to evolve, to become better versions of ourselves. In fact, Fyodor Dostoevsky believed that suffering is necessary. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Dostoevsky often talked about the duality of many human experiences. You have love and hate, you have pleasure and pain. These experiences are intertwined, they rely on each other. You can't have one without having the other. Or, as one of the most influential philosophers of our time said,
sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain.
So yes, suffering is necessary. You're supposed to struggle. You need to go through a negative experience to A, grow as a person, and B, become truly capable of appreciating the positive moments in life. But as necessary as it is, it still sucks when you're in the middle of it. So with all that said, here are the 3 biggest pieces of advice I can offer you to help you cope with the struggle. Don't attach yourself to ideals. A lot of the time, suffering comes from the belief that we deserve better. This is something that Dostoevsky often talked about because he believed that humans are unique in their awareness of suffering, which paradoxically often stems from feelings of entitlement or unmet expectations. For example, in Notes from the Underground, Dostoevsky writes that people often chase desires that lead to suffering simply because they deserve that they should be able to achieve them, even if it really brings no peace or satisfaction in the end. This same idea is what spurred fellow writer Marcel Proust to often talk about owning nothing. Proust believed that eventually we would lose everything in life, our life included, so we shouldn't become overly attached to ideas, experiences, or even achievements that could possibly be fleeting. Let me give you an example. Mr. Beast is currently the biggest YouTuber in the world, but 6 or so years ago, that was actually PewDiePie. If PewDiePie had attached himself to this idea, this identity of being the biggest YouTuber, he'd be depressed right now. He'd be miserable. He'd have no idea what to do with his life because the thing that made him him was gone. I'm not sure what he's up to now, but as far as I'm aware, he's doing good for himself, so more power to him. But even Mr. Beast, for example, he's going through all these controversies right now. If he's attached to this idea of himself being the biggest YouTuber in the world, and eventually that comes crashing down, then imagine what's going to happen to him. It's just not a good scene. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take responsibility for your actions, because both PewDiePie and Mr. Beast, had to do some work. They had to be accountable to themselves in order to reach this level of success. But what I'm saying is, once you reach it, you shouldn't attach yourself to this idea, because at any moment, you could lose it. View struggles as learning opportunities. Nietzsche famously said, "What does not destroy me makes me stronger." Extremely often, the biggest lessons in life come from the biggest tragedies because they present us with our vulnerabilities, our fears, our desires. These are things that we don't normally come into contact with, so in facing them, it allows us to both develop new skills and abilities and learn about ourselves in the process. In fact, one of Carl Jung's primary ideas was this concept of shadow work, which involved embracing your entire self by acknowledging those traits within yourself which you deem as undesirable. Things like vulnerabilities, fears, desires, they're things that we may not often share because society would deem them as unacceptable. For example, if I have a desire for attention, I may not share that because it may come across as self-centered or conceited, which may not always be the case, but you get what I'm trying to say. My point is, Jung believed you needed to come into contact with these parts of yourself in order to learn and grow and become your true entire self. If struggles are the thing that make you do that, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Remember your why. Another Nietzsche quote, "He who has a why to live can bear with almost any how." Listen, I get it. Struggles make you want to quit. They make you want to give up on your goals and dreams and aspirations. They make you want to just tuck into bed and hide from the world. But focusing on your why can help you push through the struggles and stick it out to see the rewards in the end. This could be interpreted as pushing through setbacks and failures to achieve your goals, or it could be something as simple as sticking it out during a bad situation until the better situation arrives. Either way, focusing on your why helps you reorient your focus from the struggles you're going through to the positive outcome that awaits you, which will make the struggles much easier to endure. Now, I'll admit that with some struggles, it's very difficult to find a why. For example, if you're dealing with the death of a family member, it's difficult to find a why to keep going in that situation. In those moments, your why must be greater than yourself. Would the person you lost want you to become depressed and give up and spend all your time mourning? Or would they want you to carry on and do great things in their memory? Make that your why. Okay, so those are my 3 pieces of advice. I hope they help somebody out. But before we get this video, I want to share with you the inspiration for it. Basically, I came across this parable on LinkedIn. I saw it originally on Alex Hormozi's page, but I looked it up and a million people reposted it, so I'm not really sure where the original source is, but it goes something like this. Imagine you're talking to God about the person you want to become. You say, "I want to be courageous." God replies, "Then I will give you monsters to terrify you. That way you can conquer them." You say, "I want to be patient." God replies, "Then I will make you work harder and longer. That way you can learn to wait." You say, "I want to be wise." And then God replies, then I will give you failures that will crush your spirit. That way you can learn the value of judgment. You think for a moment and then say, that sounds like a hard life. Can you give me a good life? And God replies, just like we measure the quality of a blacksmith by the strength of his steel, I measure you by what you are at the end, not the fire and the hammer it took to make you. A good life isn't an easy life. A good life makes you into a good person. And that, my child, is a hard life. Now, I love this parable. I read it like 3 times when I first came across it because it does a beautiful job at explaining how struggles can help mold us into a better version of ourselves. It also explains why the saying, be careful what you wish for, is a thing, because if you ask for patience, you better be damn ready to go through the things that are going to turn you into a patient person. And before anyone starts complaining that this is just some story and it's not really biblical, remember that James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your mom, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.